Okay. So here you would say the brief I have chosen for my screenplay establishes and develops a single character. That's absolutely fine. My protagonist. Yeah, so here, this is fine, this kind of short description of it, but you need to, in some way, say, my aim was to, you could even use that, say, create empathy. That's fine, okay? Now, here, you need to talk about these films. I think that's fine the way that you have. Yeah, I mean, I think the way you've laid it out is fine. But if you were able to turn it into continuous prose, I think it would be better.
Is it one big chunk?
Yeah, so you would say that's fine. So Curfew was a narrative influence on my film because in this film the protagonist also seems depressed. The film begins with blah blah blah. Okay, I was also influenced by the cinematography in Curfew, the close-up of da 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 da. You see what I mean? You just break it down just turn it into a continuous piece of writing. I would also like you to.
Some pictures on.
Well, it's up to you. No, I don't think you've got time to do that now. I think, but I would
do it this evening
if you wanted to. I also want you, when you refer to the films, to do it like that and put that in italics as well. Okay, so it would be. Let's say we're doing Curfew. Oh, go away. From the following short films. So it would be something like that. Curfew was an influence on the let's call it screenplay, and then you're just going to go, yeah, and that's exactly like that. All I would do is put that in italics. Okay. Now, just the question is, Curfew, grandmother, stutterer, about a girl, pitch black, heist. Have we got enough minutes there?
I think I'm on 74.
Okay. Well, you might want to stick one more in there just for. You could just, even if you only just write, I also watched The Gunfighter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. Okay. So here now, if we go back to our checklist, so you've done that, you've done that, you've done that. All right. The next section is talking about cinematic influences. That's the order they want you to do it in. What you've done is you started analysing your film. That is the section after.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I sort of done how. Okay, so what I sort of done is how the cinematic influences
So yeah, there's
my
The
film
Simpsons.
within. So if it makes sense, what I'm saying is I've done the analysis and the cinematic influences all in one program, all in one essay. If that makes sense.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Comparing the two is basically what I've done. I went through how mise en scène was used in, let's say,
I see. Okay,
it was
yeah.
used in The Incredibles versus how it was used in mine, and the meaning of the two uses. If that makes sense. If that's wrong, then I'm gonna.
No, that's too much to unpick, I think. Yeah, I think your problem is still here that I can't give you.
I think it's all I need to do is add the conclusion.
No, the conclusion is not long.
It's not how many lines is it?
This. So let's just have a look at this. This section, which is supposed to be 600 words, is currently 450. So that needs to be a little bit longer, even if it's just you writing.
Yeah.
I also watched The Gunfighter and putting in some words as you break it down, and using the word screenplay instead of film.
Yeah.
All the way through. This should be 1,200 words. So if you are going to combine the two, it's currently you're 300 words short. Okay.
Yeah.
So it might be that you want to add some bit more on the end, which is just analysis of your film, and you might want to start by.
So what do I need to hit? 600.
600 for each. It's all got to be, the total has got to be 1,800.
Okay, cool. Does total matter more than what each one has, or does each one need 600?
No, total is what matters. I would start here by saying something along the, that doesn't. I would start here by saying I was influenced by a number of films in terms of creating my screenplay, and the problem is because so much of what you said is visual.
Yeah.
Then I think you should talk about storyboard.
Yeah, because the thing is, I did the storyboard, right?
Yeah.
So most of all I could communicate was visual elements. If that makes sense, like dialogue and sound. I had to go up to my imagination.
Yeah.
And I thought it would give me like less marks. If that makes sense.
So what happens if we do?
I did short film. I think that's what I wrote. You go and take out short.
Right. So let's just have a look. So my storyboard creates different meanings and generates from relation to 3 years. Right. So here, and here you must put whatever it is, bird, USA,
And
20, whatever it is. No, it's probably about 2010, isn't it? I don't know. You must put that in there. You can't put this in quotation marks. You must put it in italics. All right. What they said was just, why don't you follow the codes? Unless you want to just lose marks for it. Okay. So you must do that, whatever that is. Get that right. So here, in comparison, yeah, so you can't use Groundhog Day, I don't think, because it's about, unless you, yeah, okay, so let's say you're doing Groundhog Day, you have to refer to the screenplay of Groundhog Day, okay?
Right, yeah.
I was inspired by the screenplay of Groundhog Day, where whoever wrote it, I can't remember, uses Phil's dialogue to convey to the audience that Phil's mindset has changed. Yeah? So that would be a perfect
so refer to the screenplay as much as possible.
Screenplay, yeah.
Wherever I can refer to the
Well, yeah, but you know, the Incredibles, you've got to, because you've done all this stuff about mise en scène, then you need to talk about the storyboard.
Yeah.
When you've talked about dialogue, as you have done here, then you've got to talk about screenplay. And this is difficult again because we're talking about dynamic shots here.
Yeah. So yeah, my last 300, I'll just go through dialogue and sound and how my screenplay uses it versus how other screenplays use it.
Yeah.
That's what I should do. I'm gonna have to edit my screenplay as well.
Why?
Or to add more aspects of sound, so I could talk about them.
I'm not. Yeah. Oh, because there's so little dialogue.
Yeah, because he is mainly just walking.
Yeah.
Most of the time, so the dialogue, the indicators that I have are mainly diegetic, so the birds in the background and the cars in the background and stuff like that.
So
maybe add more dialogue, like a conversation.
No, you don't have to, because you said that you didn't want to do that. Yeah. I mean, another way my screenplay is through the use of sound. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So yes. So when you're talking about visuals, refer to storyboard. When you're talking about dialogue or sound or narrative, and you should have some more about narrative, I think there. You should talk about the screenplay and refer directly to the screenplay for Groundhog Day by, you know, name the Groundhog Day screenplay. Harold Ramis or whoever wrote it. By Danny Rubin. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Okay.
And Harold Ramis. So.
Oh, it was him. Then you need at the end to say, I feel that I've achieved my aims, da 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 da. And if we're talking about narrative inspiration for your film from a cinematic film, so rather than a technical thing, can we think of a challenge? I mean, if you wanted to say the narrative of Groundhog Day, the idea that he's got this challenge that he's got to get, he wants to get back to his real life and out of this time loop, then you could talk about that. But you must talk about some kind of narrative, not just the technical sound or visual thing. So, I mean, if you want to carry on using Groundhog Day, that would be one way to do it. I'm trying to think of somewhere else where someone has to break into somewhere, I don't know. Inception, you know, he's got the challenge of that. I don't know. I mean, you can think of a film. Sure, that's a challenge. I'm just thinking about a physical thing of breaking in. You could say it's the opposite of Home Alone. You know, he's trying to stop people breaking into him. I don't know.
Yeah. So like a physical way that they're trying to obtain something.
Yeah.
So what? The Ocean's films.
Yeah.
Quite calculator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any heist film.
All right. So, but the key things you've got there is 1, make sure you followed that checklist. 2, make sure that when you say screenplay, it's appropriate, and when you say storyboard, it's appropriate. And 3, make sure you hit the word count.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I'm going to have to mark you down.
Cool. So at least 1600.
No, 1800. Why not?
1800. Oh, maximum
Yeah.
word. Okay, yeah, cool.
Hit the word